Alright guys, I'm here back with a new video, and in this video we are back talking about the challenge, and here I'll be talking about my reactions to the cast of the challenge 38. So obviously we'll be going through every member of the rumored cast and talk about my opinions of them. But also before that, I feel like we should talk about the general theme of the season, with that being ride or dies, where the players are going to be paired up in male-female pairs with someone that they're supposedly close to. And I think this is a great concept on paper. However, I really feel like they're botching the execution here. And really just in general, this cast, I am largely underwhelmed with how this cast has turned out. I really don't like, one, the aspect of ride or dies being this kind of very loose concept. Again, like when I first heard the concept, I was like, okay, this could be cool if it's all reality TV people paired up with other reality TV people in these like relationships that we've seen on other shows, or even within the challenge. Like I think that could have been an interesting concept, but then instead what we're getting is this kind of partially that, but then also like mixing it in with like kind of a bloodline season with certain people being paired up with like friends or relatives, some of which haven't even been on reality TV, and like this just feels weird. Like I really don't like this like really randomness to the casting for this season. But even beyond that, I am also just generally underwhelmed with the casting of this season. I mean, I really feel like they learned nothing from Spies, Lies, and Allies, which again, to me was a terrible season. And I feel like a lot of that comes down to the breakdown of the cast. The fact that the cast had a grouping of alumni that were all pretty close, were all friends, and through that just easily worked together and steamrolled. But then you also had these rookie pairs being paired together that were easy targets, and we're getting a similar thing here. Despite how much in the preseason I really thought they were going to change things up from this fact that a lot of the people from Spies, Lies, and Allies had said they're not coming back. People like a Corey, a CT, and Ashley. Kyle ends up not being back. Big T is gone. There's talk about Casey and Nani taking a break. Anissa talked about potentially not coming back. Like it felt like we were getting this new shift in the casting to where we would have a more fresh batch of returning players here. But instead what we got is still a lot of the Big Brother Alliance coming back. Josh, Casey, Fessy, people aligned with them, and Devin, Tori, Anissa. And while we do have like a couple cool returnees, it really feels like this vet field is just going to dominate once again. And I just feel like it's extremely underwhelming to not see more conflicting personalities on this cast. And I really just don't get what they're doing with the casting here. And to go beyond that, again, like when we're getting to the rookies, we're once again getting a batch of rookies of people that I've never heard of. I mean, despite me watching a lot of reality TV, I don't know who most of these people are. We're still getting a lot of random people from either international shows or, again, with this season, people that haven't even been on reality TV. And that just feels so weird to me. Like, I really just do not get what they're doing with the casting here. And really, at this point, I'm like, I should probably just give up. It's like, who cares at this point? I don't think they're ever going to do what I would want them to do, as evident by the last couple seasons, where casting's just been all over the place. And I feel like this is another point in a negative direction, but we're still running through the cast here. Now I should mention that at the time of this recording, this cast is definitely not finalized yet. So some of the people that we'll be talking about obviously might not be on the cast. Some of the people that we'll be talking about might be alternates. So that's obviously something to take into consideration here. So I will be running through them in the order that they're listed here on Vevmo, which is broken down between men and women, and then also in alphabetical order by first name. So let's start off with the women, starting off with Amber B, who I am really fine with her being back. I think Amber B is someone that, even though she got kind of shafted in the edit her first time around, I think she obviously ended up being a pretty solid competitor there. And on the return, I thought she brought a lot of drama. I mean, she is someone that, while she is from Big Brother, is someone that at least has some conflict with the major figures within the Big Brother Alliance, with Fessy and Casey. So it's like, I'm fine for her being back here. I think she's actually a solid pick. But next up, we're getting to one of the rookies from Big Brother, and here we have Analise. And this is a pick that I'm just kind of whatever on. I mean, I don't mind Analise being here. I think she probably fits the challenge more than she fits Big Brother, where she was just completely aloof on Big Brother. But on the challenge, again, she could be okay. I mean, she is a former soccer player. Wouldn't surprise me if she was involved in some hookups. I don't know how much drama she's really gonna bring. So again, I don't really hate the pick, but like really there were better people to get from Big Brother though. Next up we got Anissa, and like, why is Anissa here? I mean, like, I've been talking about this like ever since I started talking about the challenge. Like, I don't know why Anissa's still on these shows. I mean, like, I guess she does give good confessionals here and there, but she really just should not be on anymore. Like, she has no chance at winning. She gives the same type of content every time. And like, I'm not faulting Anissa for being on these shows. Again, if I'm her, I would do the same thing. Like, you're making easy money to just show up. So like, obviously you're going to say yes, but like, why is production so insistent on bringing her back? Especially when she's paired up with someone that nobody even knows. Like, if it was a situation where like, okay, she had a really great partner, then like, I would get it. Okay, we're going to put Anissa on with this person, but she's literally on with like a friend of hers. Like, it's so random. And I was fully expecting her to not be here. I was surprised when she eventually got on, and now that she's on, I'm really just expecting her to be on like every season from this point forward. So again, whatever. Next up, another one of the newbies here, we do have Emmy Russ. I never heard of her. Supposedly she was on Beauty and the Beast, the Germany, which is something. I did see that she was also on like a Celebrity Big Brother season as well. Like, I don't know much about her. I did hear some reports of her not being the most interesting person, someone that has a perpetuity for quitting. I don't really see her being the greatest competitor either. I feel like, especially out of the rookies that I don't know much about, I feel like I see a lot more physicality coming from a lot of the other rookies, more so than Emmy. But again, who knows? She could surprise me. But I'm kind of looking at her as like maybe like a Bettina style of figure here that may be fine on the show, but not someone that I'm expecting to actually do that well. Next up, someone that I probably would have been excited to see back had this person not come back for All Stars 3, which is currently airing, and that person is Kayla. I like Kayla. I think she can get on a bit of a high horse, but I mean, she's still interesting TV. She does bring drama. She's a solid enough competitor. I mean, I think she's a good casting choice, and seeing her back here, I'm mostly fine with. Even though, again, like, I think from like a conflict standpoint, I think she's really just going to fall in line with the Big Brother alliance here, especially where she has the connection with Nani, who now has the connection with Casey. I don't expect her to cause that much of a riffle within this like big vet alliance I'm assuming is going to happen, but again, Kayla is someone that I'm mostly fine with here. Next up, we got Casey, and why is Casey here? I mean, literally why? This is another case like Anissa, where it's not even like she's paired up with a good partner. Like, she's paired up with her brother who no one knows. Like, why is Casey here? I get that they like the relationship between Casey and Nani, but also, why are either of them here? Why are they here? Like, Casey should not be on reality TV. She is so boring on reality TV. It's like, she is a good player. Like, I will give her credit there. Again, I think she has now proven over all the shows that she has done, she is a good player of social strategy games. And she is a good competitor as well. I think she's someone that is locked in for the final. I mean, she is someone that is going to make the final in almost every season she plays. But she is also so boring. And it feels like production even knows that she's boring. Like, they're not giving her confessionals. Like, almost every season that she's on, she's the person that gets to the final with the least amount of confessionals. It's so weird to me that they continuously cast her. Like, I don't get what the appeal is here. She's so boring, really shouldn't be here, but they continue casting her anyway. And also, she's just perpetuating this Big Brother alliance. Like, she's just another person adding to the power of this Big Brother alliance, and is also the least entertaining of them. I really don't know why she's here. Next up, one of the better returns of the bunch, we do have Laurel. And I really thank God Laurel's here. Not that I think she's going to add too much to, again, breaking up this vet alliance. But to be honest, if anyone here is going to, I feel like it would probably be Laurel. I feel Laurel is probably the most likely to flip on the vets. But also, I just feel like it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, she hasn't been on since War of the Worlds 2, which, to be fair, isn't that long ago. But she is the vet that is the furthest removed, which is kind of sad, to be honest. It's only been a few seasons. But also, it'll be interesting to see if she returns to form. I mean, she's obviously had a couple rocky seasons. But, I mean, to me, she is probably the best female competitor in the history of the show. And I do think it will be interesting to see how she stacks up to the field here. So, again, I'm pretty happy Laurel is back here. And to be honest, it's probably one of the only casting choices that I'm actually kind of happy with. Next up, we got Michelle Fitzgerald, which, fine. Again, I thought she was really good in Spies, Lies, and Allies. Seeing her back, cool. I do worry she's going to fall into the Big Brother alliance at this point, though, considering she's tried to, like, mend her relationship with Tori and already had, like, a good relationship with, like, Devin, and obviously they have the connection to Josh, and it's like, ugh. But out of any of the rookies from Spies, Lies, and Allies, I feel like Michelle was one of the better casting choices to bring back. Though I will say, I'm also surprised at how few of the rookies from Spies, Lies, and Allies are back. Considering I felt like the rookies was the best part of the season. I felt like the rookie field was pretty strong on that season, but the vet field was pretty weak. Yeah, instead we're getting the same vet field with only a few of the rookies, which I find that super underwhelming to not see the likes of like Kels or Michaela or Esther, which like I know that the stories are already out there why they're not on, and then even Emmy and Emmanuel getting dropped at the last second. But again, I like Michelle, but I do still feel like there were probably other people that I would have rather have seen on. Next up, one of the newbies, we got Mariah Jadia, who is an Instagram model. Again, never been on reality TV. Why is she here? I mean, like, I know why she's here. I mean, she's really attractive, super fit. I mean, that's obvious, but it feels weird. Again, like I don't like this direction that the challenge is going in, to where we're not even casting from reality shows anymore. And to be fair, they already started like with a couple people here and there in War of the Worlds 1 and 2, but at this point we're getting multiple people this season, and that really just feels weird to me. But I do feel like Mariah is actually probably one of the better ones of the bunch. I mean, she seems super physical. I feel like from a challenge competitive standpoint, she definitely has a lot to bring there, but I just feel like, again, like just unprecedented of what the challenge is. I feel like through her casting, it kind of sets a precedent that they're going in a complete different direction from what I want them to go in. So because I do find that underwhelming. Next up, we got Nani, and why? I mean, I like Nani, I especially early on. I thought she was a great character in her first run. I feel like after she returned, it was kind of hit or miss, but the last few seasons have been really dull for me. Double Agents of Spies, Lies, and Allies, I really feel like she's brought very little to the table, and the fact that she's back again is just a massive question mark. Like, I really don't know why. Her and Casey, I mean, like, to be fair, she's a better casting choice than Casey. At least there's that. But also, to be fair, she also has no chance of winning, unlike Casey, so it's like, I don't know. I personally rather have just not seen her back, but I get why they cast her, but it's like, again, come on. Next up, another newbie, and this one is someone that I don't personally know, but I know some people are excited for, and that is Nuris from Are You the One? And then she was also on X on the Beach, and I know she's someone that like has been wanting to go on the show for forever and has like openly talked about it. She's someone that I believe is well liked from like the MTV crowd, and yeah, I mean, she seems fine. Again, I don't know much about her personally, but she seems like a solid casting choice. Like, I don't really have much issue with her casting here. I mean, she kind of fits into what I would want from the challenge. Again, people that are still from reality shows, people that are willing to bring drama, people that are still competent enough in challenges. Like, she seems to fit every mold that I would want in a rookie. So again, 100% okay with her casting. Next up, we got Olivia Kaiser from Love Island US, who I believe was in the running for Challenge CBS. Which, by the way, no Challenge CBS people here, which I do find that underwhelming as well. I feel like Challenge CBS kind of took away a lot of what could have been good casting choices for this season. So that's something I do find underwhelming there. But Olivia here, I mean, again, I don't know much about her. I believe she won Love Island Season 3. But again, like a casting choice I don't really have any issues with either. Again, she feels like the type of person that would be on the challenge. Young, attractive, physically fit. I feel like, yeah, like I don't have much of an issue here, but I also don't know much about her. Next up, we're getting to another person who's never been on reality TV. We got Raven Rochelle. And again, why are we casting these people? Again, to be fair, if she was on a reality show, I would have no problem for casting. And she fits into the challenge, it feels like, kind of similar to Mariah, but still, I mean, I really wish we just got more people that were actually on reality shows. I feel like that's the actual concept of the challenge. So when we're getting to the point that like we're getting like Instagram models, and I believe she's also an actress, but it's like we're getting these sort of people on the show, it's like, what are we doing? But I mean, like, I don't expect her to be bad on the show, so I mean, it should be fine, but I just don't like her casting conceptually. Next up, we have Tamara Alfaro, who again has never been on reality TV from what I understand, is a dancer, so seems like she's going to be athletic, is obviously here due to her connection to a certain other player that is very interesting that we'll talk about later down the road. But in terms of Tamara here, I don't have much to say. She seems like someone that could have potential, especially considering who her partner is, but in terms of what she's going to bring to the show, I don't get much from her based on what I've seen, so again, a bit unsure on this one. And last woman here, we have Tori Deal, which, whatever. I'm not a big Tori fan, but it's like, it's inevitable. Like, obviously she's going to be back. It's not really a question. So again, why fight it? I mean, we know she's going to probably come back until she wins. So hopefully she wins this season so we never have to see her again. Whatever. Again, fine. I get the casting choice, and it was obvious that she was going to be here. So with that, let's move on to the men. Starting off with Chauncey Palmer. At first, had no clue who this person was. Turns out he is the boyfriend of Amber B. And yeah, I mean, again, another one that I don't hate his casting, like conceptually. Like, I think he seems like a solid pick for the challenge, where he seems to be physically fit. I mean, obviously he's going to be of Amber B. So that duo could be pretty powerful here. I think that could be a solid team. And yeah, I'm fine with his casting. It's just, again, not a reality TV person. What are we doing? But again, he was on Bloodlines. Like, I would be 100% okay. Just again, reservations of him not being a reality TV person. Next up, we have one of the later entrants to the list here. We do have Corey Lay, who I liked on Spies, Lies, and Allies. I thought he made good TV. I thought he was a likable presence. I know after the fact, his social media activity has not been that well received. But, I mean, I'm personally still excited to see him back. I thought he made good TV the first time around. I know there was some drama between supposedly he was going to be partnering with Kayla. Kayla dropped out and he was upset. But, like, still, I still think it'll be interesting to see on a return. To be honest, all that drama probably makes him more interesting to me on returns. I feel like Corey's one of the messier people on this cast. So I'm kind of okay with him being back here. Next up, we got Devin, and again, like Tori, this was inevitable. I mean, this was kind of obvious he was going to be on. I felt like it was 100% they were going to be on, and they were going to be paired together, which they are. Again, obvious. I think it's fine that he's there, especially considering a certain other person is there with him, which I think could add to some drama. Though I do feel like he's probably going to hog up the screen time also, but whatever, I'm fine with Devin being here. Next up, we got Fessy, and I've always been a bit of a Fessy defender when it comes to the challenge. I think Fessy is a great villain for the challenge. I think his downfall in Double Agents is just really incredible TV, and obviously his run on Spies, Lies, and Allies was cut short, but I'm kind of fine with him being back here. Again, like, he is still part of this Big Brother Alliance, but to be honest, he's probably the one of the Big Brother Alliance that I'm like the most okay with being on their show. I mean, I think he is able to play up the villain and also is good in competition, so like, I'm mostly fine with Fessy being here. Next up, one of the rookies here, and we got Horatio Gutierrez, who was on a reality show in Mexico called Exatlon, I believe. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but it's supposedly this like super physical game, and I mean, again, he seems fine. I mean, at least he was on a reality show of some sort. Again, I wish we cast from shows that are readily available in the United States, which is the primary audience for the challenge, but again, I'm not 100% opposed to this. I think he's a fine casting choice. Seems super physical, could do very well. I do worry that obviously he's going to be paired up with Olivia, it seems like, so through that, feels like they're going to be targeted as a rookie pair, and probably one of the stronger rookie pairs, so I think that's obviously an issue. But again, I don't really have much of a problem with his casting. And the same thing goes to the next person here in Jack Maddox, who was on X on the Beach and is also good friends with Laurel, paired up with Laurel. Again, I'm fine with this. I mean, again, I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him, but at least he was on reality TV. He seems like a solid enough competitor. He's going to be paired up with Laurel, so that should be an interesting dynamic as well. Again, I'm mostly fine with his casting as well. But then we're getting to, again, why is this person here in James Simon, Anissa's best friend. Why? Again, why is Anissa here? Why is this guy paired up with Anissa? Why are these people here? I really just don't get it. Some random friend of Anissa who's never been on reality TV. Again, really random. And for all I know, he's going to end up being the greatest casting choice for MTV ever. But again, it just feels so random to me. I don't know why he's here. Next up, we got Jay. And again, I'm happy to see Jay back. Obviously, he missed 37. I believe it was COVID related. Again, see him back here. I'm 100% fine with this. I was disappointed to not see him on 37. Again, he's one of the few vets here that I think could potentially do something against that Big Brother Alliance, considering he does have an iffy relationship with Josh and then is close with Nelson, who is also one of the people that's like not necessarily ingrained in that group. So again, like, I'm 100% fine with Jay here. Next up, we got Bananas. Bananas is finally back here, 2 seasons off. And, I mean, is he going to win? Despite Bananas being, like, on the older side of things at this point, I believe he's nearing 40. I still feel like Bananas is one of the best competitors here. And I feel like it should be interesting to see him back. I mean, I do think he is probably going to be at least working alongside the Big Brother Alliance early on. But again, Bananas could stir some things up down the road. I feel like Bananas is kind of like Laurel here, where it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Though I do think it's a high variance one where it could go disastrously wrong where he gets targeted early on, or he steamrolls his way to the end. I guess we'll have to see. Next up, another one of the rookies here, we got Johnny Middlebrooks from Love Island US. I've never watched Love Island US. I don't know who this guy is outside of, like, I know he's been in the running for previous seasons. I believe people are excited for him. So, again, cool. I don't have a problem with his casting. Again, seems like the person that would be on the challenge. I just personally don't know who he is. Next up, we got Josh. It's Whatever. I don't hate Josh's casting on the challenge as much as most other people. I do think we've gotten a lot of him. Like, this is his, sixth season in a row? So that's obviously a lot. But outside of that, I think Josh is a fine casting choice. Yeah, he does play it up for the camera, and yeah, he is this big doofusy figure, but I at least respect that Josh is taking it seriously. He is someone that is trying to make good TV and then is also trying to get in shape to do well in the challenges. I at least respect that aspect of it, even though I get people's annoyances with him, but I personally don't have an issue with him being on this cast. Next up, we got Kenny Clark, Casey's brother. Why is he here? Legitimately, why? I said it with Casey, but Kenny's even more of a question mark. Why? Literally, why? Why are we picking the most boring challenge competitor's brother to be on this show? It's why is he here? Again, for all I know, could be the best casting choice ever. And to be honest, I hope he is, but I do not expect him to be that entertaining, but might be someone that's in it for a long haul just because he's paired up with Casey here. Next up, we got Nam, who I'm fine with. I don't think he's the most entertaining person in the world. Obviously, Double Agents, he had his dynamic of Lolo, and that was funny. Also, kind of sad at the same time. And obviously, he gets DQ'd there, gets DQ'd again in Spies, Lies, and Allies. So I would like to see him get a true shot. But beyond that, I don't know how entertaining he's going to be. I don't think he's going to bring that much to the table here. But I'm not opposed to a Nam return just because I feel like he's never been able to get a legitimate shot on a season. Next up, we got Nelson, and fine. I'm kind of mixed on Nelson as a TV presence, but his casting here, not surprising, saw it coming, and not opposed to it either. It's fine. Especially considering, again, he's one of the few vets that's not naturally ingrained within the Big Brother Alliance, so at least that's something. Next up, we got Sam Bird, Kayla's husband, who, again, was at least on Love Island UK. He at least was on a reality show. I'm mostly fine with this casting. I think, Sam and Kayla, I think it makes sense for them to be on a Ride or Die season or, a Bloodline season if they ever did it. It makes sense that Sam is here. I'm not opposed to this entirely. I don't know much about him as a person. I don't know his personality. I don't know how physical he is, though. He does look pretty physical. I feel it should be fine. Again, to me, there's more egregious picks on this cast, so I'm mostly fine with Sam being here. Next up, we got Tommy Bronco from BB21, which, fine, I guess. To me, Tommy feels much more like a Challenge CBS casting choice than a Challenge main show, where, I feel like the Challenge CBS was kind of filling it with more family-friendly presences, while the main show takes itself a bit more seriously. I feel like Tommy feels like someone that should be on CBS instead. The fact that CBS got, the likes of Kyland and Adezi, these people that I felt would have been good picks for the main show, and the main show gets Tommy, just feels kind of weird. But, Tommy's fine. I don't expect him to do particularly well. I don't think he has the body type that would typically excel on the challenge, especially in eliminations. I feel like if he's in a physical elimination, I don't see him doing particularly well. Sure, he could do well in dailies, but I feel like he's one of these people that, the first time he's in elimination, he's probably not doing well. But I'm not opposed to the Tommy pick, but it does feel weird that of all the Big Brother people, it's Tommy Bronco that ends up being on the main show. And finally, the final person from the cast to talk about is probably the big surprise, considering this person was added to the cast late here, and that person is Turbo. Again, supposedly he is here because Emmy and Emmanuel got dropped at the last second, and cool. Again, I think it's cool that we're seeing Turbo back. Obviously, Turbo's been gone since War of the Worlds 2. There was obviously the rumblings of him potentially being banned, but obviously he is back here. I'm personally excited to see him back. I've never been the biggest Turbo fan in terms of him as a character necessarily, but he is still really interesting TV, and I definitely would like to see him back. And someone that definitely has a lot of potential to win. I think the only person here that can really rival the Bananas and Fessies of the world. So pretty happy to see him back here. Even though, again, I think at the end of the day, he's probably just going to go in line with the Big Brother Alliance, considering he is close to Nani. Nani has a connection to Casey. And again, I feel like probably not going to bring much actual drama to the season, but again, we'll see. Hopefully it turns out well. But there we go. That is the entire rumored cast of the Challenge 38. which again, mostly underwhelmed by. I was really hoping we would get the likes of like a Tony, a Devon, possibly even like a Paulie and Cara, and add that in with like maybe some of the better rookies from recent seasons. I felt like there was a good cast they could have put together, but then they just didn't. But again, that's the challenge for you. So I don't know why I ever get my hopes up anyway. But either way, I will be doing a review for the season once it ends up concluding, which will obviously be a while from now, but stay tuned for that. All Stars 3 is currently happening. I'll be doing a review of that when that's done. I will be covering the challenge CBS/USA, and eventually I want to do the ranking of all the spin-offs. Now that I've done my season ranking, so stay tuned for that at some point down the road after the World Championship is done. But for now, that is the video. Thank you for watching.